What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade coming to y'all with an analysis breakdown trip on Reggie Miller, the greatest shooter of his era and one of the greatest shooters of all time. Was a 90% free throw shooter multiple times throughout his career. Not only that, he ended up shooting um, a career of 88% from the free throw line and had multiple seasons above 90 as a free throw shooter. And not only that, he understood how to use his body correctly because he did have good size and he did have good length for a shooting guard back in the day, and he used that speed and he used that quickness in his basketball IQ to be able to get to the rim. And he didn't have the quickest first step or the best finishing ability, but he knew how to keep it simple, even if it was just playing off the ball and just rolling to the rim and just getting a quick look at the basket and just finishing it very easily. He also can come off screens and hit mid-range jump shots. He was really good moving without the basketball and making the defense have to guard him the whole time, or he'll find a way and get open. He can even hit him contested. He can also shoot a little bit off the dribble too, and he can readjust his shot from time to time to be able to make it steal. He also can do it from the three-point line. He'll find a way to get open or break free, and if you couldn't get to him, that ball was out of his hands very quickly. And he was a guy that was able to shoot over 40% in mid 30s or higher for his entire career. And he was also a guy that could get open just because you try to react to other players on his team and they'll leave him open, and then it's about him knocking it down. But he also had a jab step from the 3-point line that he can knock down too, and he can also dribble a little bit too and create separation and get enough space and a good enough look to be able to hit threes that way too. And he covered that in transition when it comes to shooting, finding ways to get open, finding ways to get the ball and still being able to knock it down. He was one of the clutches shooting guards in NBA history and guards in general. He stepped up in big moments and his team loved him for that. Reggie Miller career, he was a fun and exciting player in his time when he played and was one of the best players in the league when he did play also. This was a man that was able to average 18.2 points per game by the time his season and his careers was up. And not only that, he averaged 24 points per game at the apex of his career, showing you that he was one of the best scorers in the league, and he was able to do it in multiple ways. He also averaged 3 assists per game with 3 rebounds per game, and he also averaged 1.1 steals just because people thought they can pass it or just because people thought that he wasn't aware of what they was trying to do. He'll sneak in there and grab the basketball right out of the hand right before they can get it, and that will help him average that steal for his entire career just because he had great anticipation of when to go for the steal and when to try to go stop his opponent. And one of the reasons why he was able to do it because he was able to see it coming a lot of the times. But not only that, Reggie Miller was very smart with the basketball. He only had a high of 2.7 turnovers in a season. That was the highest he ever did, and that was the season when he had the ball in his hands the most, and he was trying to create and score the most times that he could. But that obviously didn't really hurt, to have 2.7. You don't want to be in the threes and the fours, and he was able to avoid that his entire career, even when he had a high usage rate. Not only that, the man just understood how to play the game when it comes to knowing when to be off the ball, knowing to be on the ball, knowing how to space the floor, knowing how to get open. Those things helped him score efficiently and effectively throughout his entire career. This was a man that basically shot 50% plus on 2-point shots, and he attempted a lot of them, but he was able to knock them down at an above average clip because you want to shoot above 50%, which he did, showing you that he was really, really good at converting those shots into baskets. He even shot 39% from three as a career. That's above average. You want to shoot 36 or above. He was able to shoot higher than that, and that's why he was the best shooter of his era. And that was one of the biggest reasons why he ended up getting inducted as a top 75 player, just because in the modern game he would be perfecto in today's game with the 3-point shooting and the screening with the dribble handoffs and things like that. But he was doing that before it was even really, really popular. Now, he had guys that did it before him, but they wasn't doing that efficiency and consistency as what Reggie Miller was doing. Obviously, he ended up getting drafted number 11th in the 1987 draft by the Indiana Pacers. and he basically played his entire career with the Pacers from 1987 to 2005, and he did get to the NBA Finals. Just came up a little short to Shaq and Kobe, but he ended up being a five-time NBA All-Star in 1990, 1995, 1996, 1998, and 2000. He also showed that he was among the elite players in the league because he was a three-time All NBA third team performer in 1995, 1996, and 1998. And then he also had his number 31 retired by the Indiana Pacers. He was also third team All American UPI in 1986. He was also a two-time first team All Pac-10 in 1986 and 1987. He was an NIT MVP in 1985. He had his number 31 retired by the UCLA Bruins, where he ended up playing from 1983 all the way to 1987. Then he went to the NBA. And then he also was USA Basketball Male Athlete of the Year in 2020, 2002. He also scored over 25,000 points because he had great longevity and he played in the league for a long time. Nobody really seen him doing that. 25,000 points is a lot for a guy that hasn't really been on a first team or a second team when it comes to All NBA, and he never was a long period of time All-Star consecutively. He had it in individual type of seasons, and for him to score that many points show you how good he was throughout his entire career and how he was able to be productive throughout his entire career. Even when he got older, his role changed, and his ability to want his role to change for the benefit of the team is a reason why they looked at him as a great teammate and a person that has always found a way to reinvent his game or show you that his game can complement any player that he can play with when it comes to being a second or a third or even a fourth option or even a fifth option. It didn't really matter. He was always able to adjust and adapt, and it just made their job easier because he always gave them the space, and he was always an unselfish player. Even when he got the ball, he got off it early if he couldn't find a shot or he didn't like where he was out on the court. He'd just get rid of it and relocate and probably be a threat off the screen or off a handoff or even just running the floor and seeing if his defender gives up on the play, and then he gets open anyway and be able to be a threat by being open enough to knock down a legitimate easy shot for him, or just passing it because he got all the attention going towards him. Then he just reads the floor the right way and make the right pass. But he also had over 4,000 rebounds because he averaged three, like I said, a game. He also had over 4,000 assists because he also averaged three a game. And it just shows you that this man was really, really good at understanding what he was on the court to do and how to go out there and get it executed the proper and right way. He had some great coaches. He had some guys that help him understand what he was needed to do out there. It was really no arguments. There's really no fights. It was just about let's go out here and play as hard as we can. Let's go out here and do the best that we can and compete. And like I said, that's one thing you didn't have to worry about Reggie Miller. Each and every night you knew he was going to most likely show up and he was going to be ready to ball out or shoot that air out that ball. He had multiple seasons where he played 82 games. He had a lot of seasons where he was playing 39 minutes or higher, which was crazy for a guy back then that moved without the basketball and commanded so much attention. But he did have a lot of seasons in the high 30s or in the mid 30s, and that was really, really good to see. And he also was good from the field. He finished his career 47% shooting from the field. The worst season that he shot from the field was his last year where he shot 43%, but he was older at that time, so it didn't really matter as much because you come to expect that that's something that's going to be there and something that's going to happen since he was never the most explosive guy or the craziest athlete, but he still was productive and he really still helped his team anyway, and that's what they needed him to do. And he was able to get it done because, he still showed that he can get to the free throw line and be great there and still be a decent facilitator and rebounder when they needed him to help out in those areas. But when it comes down to his career, he shot 47% from the field, which is above average for a high volume scorer and a guy that had the ball in his hands a lot and had played a lot of minutes. Other than that, comment, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell for more analysis. And if you're new to the channel, I do conversations also about basketball, NBA only topics. I also do breakdowns with real footage of legends, current legends, rookies, and also future stars. I also do mock draft and draft coverage, so you love that type of stuff. I got over 3,000 videos already on my channel that you can watch and you can enjoy right now, and it's all for free. Not only that, I also do have to say thank y'all for showing love to the channel. Thank y'all for appreciating the content for what it is. Thank y'all for continuing to come back and caring what I have to say and making time for me. Not only that, I also say thank y'all for supporting me in the past. I hope y'all continue to support me in the present and also in the future. And all I can say is thank y'all for continuing to watch and continuing to come back each and every time that I have something new to show or talk about. Other than that, I'm gone for now. I might see y'all later. If not, I'll see y'all hopefully tomorrow if it's meant to be. Peace. Y'all say blessed out, blessed up. And I'm gone for now.